Guess who's back again. Hello, welcome back to another reaction video for season 3 of Oregairu. This is Pedro Romero, and I'm excited to see where this next episode has left us off. Coming off of Hachiman meeting Yukino about his involvement with the prom and her refusal in allowing him to do so has left him in a bit of a predicament, and in episode 6 we'll see where it has left off. So without further ado, let's get to it. So right off the bat, we're continuing immediately after where the second interlude of volume 13 finished, and it is now chapter 3. And in here is where Irohas and Hachiman talk about what has happened after his conversation with Yukino, and how he's kind of lamenting the fact that Irohas was kind of confused over the subliminal messaging that was laid throughout the exchange between himself and Yukino. So there it is, right off the bat. Irohas is acting like a freaking like a mad girlfriend after her boyfriend said something he didn't know was very offensive to her. She just acted like she's secretly mad at him without even giving him hints of knowing that fact. It's kind of amusing. And then Hachiman didn't even pick up the messages that Irohas gave him. I mean, she had like a clenched fist. She wasn't actually like willing to continue their conversation on the sidewalk until they reached the vending machine. And wouldn't you know it, they finally added in the subtitles for the opening song titled Megumi no Ame by Yanagi Nagi. Why did the people in charge of making the subtitles for the show finally decide to do it for the opening sequence? It like fucking juggles my mind why they had to delay that instance until right now. Until we're freaking at the halfway point of the show. Oh, it's so infuriating, but oh well. Better late than never. My man obviously taking that maths coffee. Hachiman is really a good man for thinking that deeply about his teacher. It's so heartwarming. Irohas is that type of person. She's as resilient as Hachiman whenever he's doing like one of the service club's tasks. It's very telling that Irohas looks at her senior classmates as genuine. Well, I don't want to say genuine in this case, but it's very interesting for her to see her seniors as actual friends. Not once did she utter someone's name in her first year. It's all everyone in the second year or members of the student council, which may possibly be like second or third years themselves. It gives Hachiman and us the audience the idea that she's always been alone within her own grade level. But when she's out and about with, say, Hachiman and the service club, she feels like she can act like a true self. Instead of acting all cute and stuff, all bright and cute, she can be like demented, mean, vicious, sly with Hachiman, which was exemplified in the second season, in the OVA, and like after her confession with Hayama. And for doing this kind of work for her beloved seniors a year before they graduate speaks volumes of how she truly feels about them. She really treasures Hachiman and the rest of his like acquaintances in year 2. She grabs her fucking neck. I mean, the way she grabbed his scarf by his neck is so different. Well, it's like I want to say it's like completely different, but it's like not that different in the image shown in the light novel. So in the light novel, there's an image which shows that very same event, and it is compiled into two panels. The top panel shows her face when she is she's in the middle of grabbing Hachiman's scarf, and then in the bottom one, which is slightly smaller with the top one compared to the top one, it shows Hachiman like all flustered and stuff, like how a boy would react if his crush suddenly started talking to him. In a way, this kind of passes like as somewhat adapted in the anime, but it's not something to like ride over. But it's fine. Now that I see it, they don't even show Iroha's face, like Iroha's determined but like slightly bothered face in the anime. It just shows the act of her suddenly grabbing Hachiman's scarf, catching him off guard. Komachi-chan. So this part of Hachiman conversing with Komachi about her graduation plans or her post-graduation plans, or maybe like pre-graduation plans. Hachiman is such a good bro, man. He cares so much about his little sister. He's even making little notes on his phone, just so he can get an idea of what she's going to do.
早春の光を浴びて1、2、僕たち1、2、私たちは卒業します卒業しますみたいなやつな
So cute, man. Yuki, Aoi, and Taguchi Eguya, man, they're such good characters, man. And they're so good to pull it off, something like that. Let's go, man. That much you're sure of. We are now in the next chapter, chapter 4. Another thing to consider is the fact that Yuigahama didn't even tell Hachiman yeah, hello, as is customary with how she has introduced herself to everyone that she meets for the first time or occasionally. She only gives out an ohayo, which means good morning in English or in Japanese. I mean, it makes sense because the tension, well, not really tension, but the environment between herself and Hachiman was very, very anxious filled or like tense. Of course, nothing would have returned the way it has been since she inadvertently cried in front of Hachiman. But it's just a way for her to cope with the mess that she brought forth the day before or the episode before in our present time. Oh yeah, I was just about to say, man, it's the first time Yuri and Hachiman meet after he saw her cry suddenly after receiving the phone call. Oh, it's fucking tense. Whew, it's fucking tense. No way of associating yourself with her, man. You guys been together for like a year now, and you still feel like there's some sort of distance, like some larger distance between you and Yuki Noshida? No. Is it rational for a loner after becoming friends with somebody else for like a certain amount of time still call their relationship a superficial one? No, you can't. I mean, the relationship is definitely going to change, and it has changed in this case between Hachiman and Yukino, and also Yuigahama. I mean, Yukino and Hachiman still believe that they can't ever be together as friends, or they can't ever be close enough as friends. But it's easy for them to be clouded in their subjective judgment. All it takes for them to change their outlook is to have another perspective or to change their perspectives, such as Yuigahama and Iroha's. They have both commented on how Hachiman and Yukino's relationship looked in the eyes of another person. Iroha's, after Hachiman and Yukino's conversation in the last episode, commented on how their conversation was essentially like a confession, but the two people in question wouldn't even notice it because they're so entrenched with this predicament of the prom. Hachiman is at least getting there in the fact that he wants to help Yukino with the prom out of his own desire, out of his own volition. He didn't need any other outside excuse to step forward and lend his hand for support. He looked back on the amusement park where Yukino asked Hachiman to help to save her one day, and as luck would have it, that prom trouble is that day that Yukino waited for. And since that day has come, she has resolved to better herself for her own sake and not for her other friends. It's alright, but it's not alright for someone to exert personal growth at the risk of losing their personal friends. It might work in the grand scheme of things, but that only happens in like very rare occasions. Yuigahama is the one who definitely knows that Hachiman and Yukino are a thing. Well, the evidence is laid out throughout this season. She found the photo in the back of Yukino Shida's bed. She freaking cried about losing Hachiman to Yukino 3 episodes ago. And let's not forget about the last part of season 2 where she swore to take, well, she didn't really swore, but she like promised to take everything for herself. Well, that basically means that she wants to take Hachiman for herself as her boyfriend. But no matter how hard she tries to get him to go her way, Yukino and Hachiman are just so compatible with one another that they can't even like once they're separated of each other, they'll definitely feel the pain that goes along with it. Yuigahama tries so hard to get at him to go her way, but no. And may I remind you of that one scene where Hachiman held Yuigahama's cookies the day after the last episode of season 2, but instead of like at least taking one and eating it, he just put it into the drawer. I mean, that by itself just lets you know that this shipping game has been over for a fucking while. Too long didn't watch. GG Yuigahama. Turning it into a competition is not the only way. There are so many other routes that you can go to that can like solve all of this mess. But like I said before, loners are very clouded in their perception of friendship, that they believe one possibility is the only possibility that they can go to. It makes sense. It makes sense because they don't know the meaning of friendship. They're trying to see how it works rationally. But love, attachment, friendship, it's not as simple as they perceive it to be. Saizeria. Doesn't the outside of Saizeria look a little bit like the restaurant in the Working series? The color fits. The windows fits. All this time I thought Saizeria was like a small joint amidst the bright lights of the city. You know what I mean, right? Like, I thought the Saizeria looked like the small fast food restaurants you'd find in, like, say, a major city such as New York City. You know, those small McDonald's, you know, or the Burger King or the Wendy's. I thought it looked like that, but I don't know. This is why Hachiman didn't want Yui. This is why he chose Yukino instead.
今なら実質無料で使い放題。ブラックすぎる。っていうかさ。
God damn it, Hachiman! God fucking damn it! What's with that voice?
それがいいとこじゃん。ほい。
This is why Hachiman didn't fucking choose you, Yui. This is why. You make some mean looking cookies, but that fucking salad is terrible. That's just fucking terrible. If my mom fucking did that shit, I would fucking slap her in the face. Nah, you know, I wouldn't really slap my mom in the face. I love her too much. But if my little sister did that shit, then I would fucking slap her in the face. Hell no. Hell no. That's a crime against fucking humanity right there. Why are you looking at it? Why are you looking at him like that, Yui? You love him so much! Oh, it's my boy! It's my boy! It's my fucking boy! Zaimokuza!
けど僕たちもちゃんと8万のことを理解したいから。
I know Yui doesn't have a chance in the Hachiman sweepstakes, but looking at her calm Hachiman down with her hand, with her placing her hand on top of his, is very cute. She makes for very good wife material, that's for sure.
俺はあっちのプロも実現させてやりたいと思ってる。
Such a major step this is. Hachiman is actually telling other people his actual reasons for creating another prom proposal. Very cool for him to do that. Very true to the light novel too.
別にあんたに言われなくても、でも応援はしてる。
Sucky sucky moment. I love it! Love it!
ヒッキー、私たちはどうする？そうだな。差し当たっては資料を探して提案用の企画書作りだ。そっか。
Wait a minute.
入ってるよ。
I just remembered that. They skipped I think interlude 3 after chapter 4? I can't remember. That was during the part where Yui Gahama asked Hachiman if she could help him out at the end of the chapter. Because she talked about her frustrations of dealing with a guy like Hachiman. It's laid out in full writing in the interlude. She was frustrated on Hachiman about how he came to the conclusion of creating another prom proposal in direct contrast to Yukino's. It says it right here, like right off the bat, it says like, I don't get it at all. When I'm sitting at my seat, when I'm chatting with the others, when the lesson bell rings, even when the class began, I've been thinking about the same thing all this time, to the point that I confuse myself, telling myself that this is fine, that things should end this way, to the point that my tears are falling down. I just don't get this at all. But yeah, that's the kind of people they are. The kind of people who look smart on the outside, even if they're actually clumsier than they thought. Outside perspective on loners. Repeating the same way of doing things to the point that none of us could realize that a different option exists to oppose each other, to compete with each other, without creating such a reason. Neither of them could get closer to each other. An excuse made to convince themselves. She's basically talking about the current situation between Yukino and Hachiman. Or in other words, everything that I've been talking about up until this moment. Whoever wins the competition will have the right to order the other to fulfill a wish, as was established in the very first season of episode 1. Her wish was probably decided ever since the beginning. A wish that has the same nature yet with a completely opposite intention than mine. Two wishes that are similar yet so different. There is only one way to fulfill that wish of hers, but that definitely shouldn't happen. What is that wish? I'd like to say it, but since I already know what happens, no matter what, if they end up going back to being complete strangers, then nothing can bring them back together. But even this is probably just a statement used to escape reality. The words on the blackboard are being wiped out before I could copy, and we have reached the next page of the textbook before I realized it. People seem to be chattering within the class, yet I can't hear any of those voices, only the scrubbing sound of chalk and pencils and the soft sigh near me echoed into my ears. The instant I diverted my view, a familiar person enters the scenery. Hachiman. A head being supported by the left hand, a pair of eyelids about to close, the remaining right hand that spins a pen delicately between his fingers. The head then lowers down a bit, seemingly deciding on reading the textbook on the table. But a sense of fatigue seems to linger about, as it struggles very hard not to daze off during the class. This action has been repeating throughout the whole day. I can still see him. We can still see each other. Even if we ended up moving to a different class, even if it ends up going unnoticed, even if no one becomes aware of it, even after understanding each other thoroughly, things will only be the way it has always been. Which is why I have to hide away these feelings, seal them within the depths, and put up my best smile possible. Such a sly, disgusting person. Though she expresses her frustrations on Hachiman and Yukino, in a way she kind of curses herself because she is keeping those feelings that she has for Hachiman deep inside of them. She doesn't want anyone else to take notice of it. Even Hachiman, although Hachiman already knows what's up, given what he has done to stop any of the two girls in confessing. This sort of situation that she describes is the kind that she wants to treasure, just like Hachiman and Yukino did. That sort of state in which all the days can pass but no progress has been made. That situation where the three of them are sitting together on a table in the service club room, just haphazardly sipping tea and waiting for an unknown student to come in and plead for their help. That scenery is the thing that she treasures the most. She wants to keep it as it is, but she knows very well that if she confesses, then that scenery will essentially halt. It's akin to the Ebina Hina and Tobei situation in season 2. Tobei tried to confess to Ebina, but behind the scenes, Ebina didn't want him to confess because she feared that if he did so, then the camaraderie or the friendship she has with Miura, Hayama, Tobei, and the other two lackeys will change. They'll be distant with each other. That sort of happiness that she longed for will dissipate, and that's a sad thing. But that's how it is. That's how it is in real life. It's very sad. Yurika Hama, echoing off of Hina's sentiment, she wants to remain in that enclosed scenery of the service club where no one gets hurt, nothing is being done to change it, and everyone is still happy with each other, happy with how nothing has really changed. It's good for one person, but very bad for another. Look at the aftermath of the Tobei Hina debacle. Yuki no Shirao essentially decayed into a form that Hachiman had never seen before. The type in which she just smiles discreetly and just nods at everything that's being said to her or around her just to keep up with the conversation. You gotta go with the good and the bad. But in this case, is it really a good thing for nothing to change? I always thought it was a karaoke room, but it's actually the type of small rooms that are used in like internet cafes. I actually saw one video where this guy stayed in that type of room for a full day. Very interesting. I thought it was a karaoke room, but no, I was mistaken.
前に家族で行ったことあるんだけど、ほら。Gahamama wakka.
God, what the fuck? Gahamama! Fucking MILF! God fucking damn! God damn, you might have heard me like go back to the same scene, but god damn! Jesus, I was not fucking expecting this. Fucking, what the fuck? Fucking Gahamama, what the fuck? I cannot believe this. Why was I so fucking shocked by this one event? Because of the fucking ass. That's why. She's on his shoulder.
こんな日がずっと続けばいいのに。
See what I mean? See what I mean?
そうだわ。このまま映画が終わらなければいいのに。ずっと見ない。
This is definitely the interlude after chapter 5, I
気づいてい
think.
るのに。こんなことしたって。
Put the
もしかし
blanket
たら
over her.
なんて願ったりしないから。
Such a good man.
だからお願い。終わらせないで。
So much fucking pain. It never stops! Her suffering never stops! Yurika Hama's suffering never fucking stops! See what I mean? She had no chance. Competition was already set in stone the moment Hachiman met Yuki Noshida for the first time. That's why she said she doesn't want this to stop. She doesn't want the movie to end. She doesn't want to wake back up. She just wants this whole, that very scene of Hachiman and her together to just stay that way. Please turn the lie that I keep feeding myself into reality means her love for him and how he doesn't respond in kind. He already loves Yukino, but subconsciously, and she just keeps pleading within her soul that Hachiman would eventually switch gears and go to her, but that's just not gonna happen. We're in a very good anime with very deep characters, and executing that act would be sophistry. You just can't do it. It can't be possible. The lie won't ever turn into reality. Yes! I thought they were gonna skip it! They finally show up! And he shows up too! Let's fucking go! Let's go! I fucking love that scene so much! Let's fucking go! Oh my god! Oh my god! Those two fucking guys should have shown up beforehand, man. Before this next fucking episode. I've been waiting for them to show up since the first episode of this season. Oh my god! It was a fucking crime to not include them in season 1. Oh my god! I should have made a fucking riot. Ah! And then that other scene, oh my god, fucking love. That was definitely my favorite scene in the volume. Oh my god, I'm not gonna say what it is. You're gonna have to find out for yourself. But I'm fucking hyped for next week. Although it's kind of ironic because we just left off at the part where Yuigahama's crying again, which is sad. And I do feel sad, but next episode, oh my god, it's gonna be so amazing. Woo! Oh, I can't wait to see this shit so much. I'm gonna hold off that hype for episode 7. With that said, that is all from me. This has been Pedro Romero / Timboli3 with this reaction video, and that is it. See you later.